What's up, everybody? What is up? Welcome. My name is Lazaro Gomez. This is BOT10ART, and you're tuned in to the Friday night live stream. What is up, everybody? I hope you guys had a wonderful week. I know I had a great week, productive week, I should say. I got a lot of my projects done, and if you've been following along in on Noodle Doodle, which is the podcast, the BOT10ART podcast that happens on Sunday morning at 9 a.m., you would know that I'm starting home projects, or I'm getting back to, I guess, working on my home. We lived in this home for quite some time now, and it's a small starter home, and I explained a little bit about it on the podcast, but basically, for a long time we didn't know if we were going to sell or stay or this and that, whatever. We kind of made a decision, and then now I kind of feel like it's time to upgrade things. My home was built in the 80s, so a lot of the things are now obviously out of code. Hey, what's up, Dan? What's happening, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. So yeah, you know, I have my art projects, I have my personal projects that I'm working on, and then of course working on projects at home, right? So updating closets, changing windows out, doors, and all that good stuff. So it's a really great feeling, to tell you honestly, because of course I love working with, you know, crafts and building stuff and doing things, and you know, my background in prop making and all of that good stuff comes in handy, because I get excited every time I have a new toy or a new tool or something, you know. And just recently I picked these up. So if you're watching, these are super handy to have. These are 3-2-1 blocks, and you know, for arts and crafts and stuff like that, and you know, just DIY projects, this is really great, because hey, hello Lila, how's it going? Because you know, it's 3 inches this way, 2 inches this way, and then 1 inch that way. So it gives you quick measurements, and it's also real heavy. It's made out of stainless steel, and it helps to weigh things down when you're gluing stuff, right? So I get excited whenever I get new little tools and stuff like that. So working around the house, it's been years since I did anything to the house, but we're starting to do a lot of cool things. So yeah, I'm excited about doing that, staying up on my commissions and everything else, and of course, you know, the Friday night live stream and the podcast that I do on Sundays called Noodle Doodle. So last week, thank you so much. You guys like absolutely destroyed the like button. I was shocked. Like, whoa, they really liked it. That's pretty cool. And of course, yep, another one. Thanks for joining us. I'm so glad you're here, man. But yeah, you know, just an average guy with a YouTube channel, and you try to do things better and better every time, every video. So those are all the kinds of things that I think about, you know, from 3D printing to just building shelves, or adding LED lights, or programming Arduinos. Just all of these crazy ideas go through my mind, and I just think it's a wonderful way to kind of show you guys what I do, because trust me, if if someone like me can do it, you can do it as well. But my beautiful wife, of course, she's manning the chat. She will tell you that I tend to do these sort of things, and of course she gets involved in the home projects, and she enjoys doing them with me. And you know, we love going to Home Depot and walking around, and you know, looking at paint and smelling the wood, and just all of those things. So it's I'm excited about that. But I'm excited about the Friday night live stream. And first and foremost, like I said, you guys destroyed the like button, and thank you so much. We had a lot of views on last week's channel, or last week's video on this channel, and I truly appreciate that, man. It's so crazy. You know, sometimes I sit here and I'm like, well, you know, will they like it? Will they not like it? And I try to pick projects that that are interesting and perhaps may help you. So just know that if I do anything on the Friday night live stream that helps you out, let me know, man. Just definitely let me know. Share it or like or leave me a comment or whatever the case may be. But yeah, so with that said, I want to say welcome to all the new subscribers. We have new subscribers to the channel every week. It's a nice surprise to see that we have subscribers and people like it. So allow me to be the first from the Art Familia to say welcome to my channel. I hope you stay a very, very long time. And if you like this and know other people that may like it, invite them to come hang out with us. We do this every week. Hey, what's up, brother? What's happening? Hi. To just kind of join in and partake of what we do here every Friday night. So recently, and I'm glad RJ's in the chat. Recently, RJ and a few of my friends, we got together and we finally decided to say, hey, we're gonna take this serious and start playing some D&D, because it's been a while, right? So growing up in junior high and high school and stuff like that, I played D&D. And for those who don't know, obviously Dungeons and Dragons, it's a role-playing game, role-playing tabletop game. And so anyways, we kind of got serious about it and we've been playing. And we started a campaign. So far, it's going really well. I'm having a great time. Some of the things I don't remember, so every once in a while I have to ask my gracious DM, like, do I roll the D8, or whatever? What am I rolling here? D20? Okay, got it. But in playing, I started looking online because somewhere along the line I thought it would be kind of cool if we had some kind of terrain, because our gaming group has this sheet that we roll out and it has markers and stuff like that. But just playing, I thought it'd be cool if we can build some kind of terrain or something that we can put our figures on, and okay, there's a house over here, there's a bridge over there, and kind of get into the mood a little bit, right? To get into the mood of playing Dungeons and Dragons and make it a little bit more interesting and something to look at. So I started thinking about it. I'm like, man, there's got to be something that we can do. And I of course, me being a YouTuber, I immediately went to YouTube and I found a particular channel, and I want you guys to check him out, which is where I got the inspiration to do everything that we're doing tonight. Huge shout out to Black Magic Craft. He's got a really cool channel. He hails out of Canada, which is awesome, because sometimes in the background you get to see the snow and stuff like that in some of his videos. But very informative, very friendly, witty, fun, and I just discovered his channel recently and I enjoy it. I subscribe to his channel. I suggest you guys do the same thing if you're interested in D&D. I'm certainly not trying to steal his thunder. Every Friday night, you guys know I do a different project all the time that's art related or whatever the case may be. So I'm certainly not trying to make a Dungeons and Dragons channel. Go visit Black Magic Craft for all that good stuff. But I did take some tips, some hints, some of his I guess way of doing things, and I kind of put it through the BOT10 filter and started looking at how I can create things for my group. And so first things first, we need terrain, right? We need an area that we could place our figures. And last week we started using some of the tiles that I have been creating. So it's actually really cool because I get to craft these things while we're playing D&D, and they're super easy to do, really cheap, like god awful cheap. You can use supplies that you have already in your arsenal, and I just thought it was a really cool idea. So so I started messing around with this sort of stuff. This, if you're not familiar with it, this is actually insulation foam. It's purple. Sometimes they're yellow or green, depending on where it is that you get it. But my local Home Depot carries these, and they're really big sheets. I want to say they're squared, so I want to say it's like, I don't know, maybe 2 feet by 2 feet squares of this sort of stuff. You could also get like giant 4 foot by 8 foot sheets of this stuff. All right, and I believe it is an inch wide. Yep, it's an inch wide. So you can, you can get a sheet of this stuff, and it's super cheap. It's like $5, but you're gonna create basically that size. You have a 2 foot by 2 foot playing area that you're gonna cut down into 3-inch squares. So this is 3 inches by 3 inches. And if you can see there on the camera, each square represents 1 inch by 1 inch. So it's perfect for a mini. If you're into minis, if you play with minis, if you have minis. There are some people out there that paint minis. And I was thinking of doing that for the live stream, but at the same time, it's so small that I'm afraid that you won't be able to really tell what it is that I'm doing with the cameras that I have. I could try doing some experimentation to kind of show you that, but I don't know. So anyways, I got I got 2 sheets of this stuff, and then I also got some poster board, big poster boards that they sell at Walmart, and those are like $1 each. This thing is like $5. I mean, easy, right? Super cheap. And if you have a gaming group, not necessarily D&D, but you can play different kinds of games, then you can certainly do this project at home. It's a lot of fun to just kind of go through it and do it, and even hang out with the kids and start making these little things. And in fact, the reason why I'm doing these is not just for my gaming group, but I also bought a D&D starter kit, and I will be playing with my kids. I'm going to teach my kids how to play D&D, and who knows, maybe they like it, maybe they tell me to go fly a kite. I don't know, but we'll definitely give it a try. We'll definitely give it a try and kind of see if they like it. But yeah, so here I have a few blocks that represent the different stages of how to do this. So obviously, this is a brand new block that we're going to be texturing. We're going to be making the lines on it, all that good stuff. And then we end up with something like this. So it has a bunch of cracks and holes in it, and kind of give it character. It gives each tile character. And the cool thing about this is that they piece together. So if my DM has a dungeon that we're going to be going into, he could set these up on the table and kind of give us a rough layout of what it is that we're getting into. So we can move our characters and kind of say, all right, I'm going down this hall, someone's going down this hall, and there's a door here and stuff like that. So so I thought it was really neat. So this is what we start with, and then we create all of this stuff, which I will show you on this block here. Then using Mod Podge, which is everybody's favorite sealer. It's a water-based sealer that you can pretty much get anywhere. Super cheap. They have it at Walmart. They have it at Hobby Lobby. They have it at Michael's, Joann Fabrics. I mean, throw a rock in the air, you can find Mod Podge. So, of course, I have Mod Podge not only for the projects that I do, because I use this to seal, stuff like this, or seal paintings. But my daughter Sophia, she loves to build puzzles, and I build puzzles with her, and we kind of, it's a family tradition. We have a puzzle, and everybody kind of puts in little pieces, and when it's done, we go ahead and Mod Podge the whole thing and hang it up on the wall, or whatever we want to do with it. But we'll be using Mod Podge to seal these, and I've already done that to one of the tiles. So this particular tile right here, I got it ready for the show. It does have Mod Podge already on it. Now I do know that Black Magic Craft does he takes a shortcut, or creates a step that makes it easier for him, to where he will put paint, latex paint. He'll put it in his Mod Podge, and he has a black one, and basically turns out like this. So he's painting the tile, or the basic color of the tile, while he's sealing it, and it saves him a little bit of time because he does build a lot. But for me, I'm at a different pace. Oh, there goes my dogs. And there's probably a UPS guy out there. But anyways, you know, I'm in no time crunch at all. So I can afford to paint this with Mod Podge, let it dry, and then paint it again with the latex paint, let that dry, and then go back and start adding, you know, the texture and all kinds of stuff. I don't know. Oh, can you guys see that? Oh, zoom in. It probably won't zoom in, but you kind of get the idea of how these things are done. Maybe here. But anyways, you get the idea of how these are done. Now he does have a wire cutter, so he can put these on the side and slice these to where they're 1.5 inches tall. I'm not quite there yet. I could do the same thing with an X-Acto knife and a ruler. It'll just take me a little bit longer. So for now, I'm okay with having a 1 inch, or sorry, this is gonna be 1/2 inch because it's 1 inch wide. But I'm okay with these blocks being the thickness that they are, so I'm cool with that. But if I wanted to, then yeah, I would get a wire cutter and do the same thing that he does. But like I said, for right now, this is good enough. So as I mentioned, these are the different stages. You start off with a nice clean block, and then you do all of the texturing, you do all the measuring, all of that good stuff, weathering, and whatever you want to do. Mod Podge, latex color, and then you add more color. So what I have been using is the Waverly paints, and we're going to be doing dry brushing. It's a technique where you pick up some paint, and then you take most of the paint and rub it onto a towel or dirty rag or anything like that, and then just kind of paint on top of that. It dries really fast, and it's really easy to do. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started on that. So we'll be painting that. Let's see, and I'll show you the process. These things are like really easy and fast to do. So what I do is I just get some of that insulation foam. I cut a big strip that's 3 inches wide, and then I start cutting those into 3-inch squares, and you get like a ton of these. you get like tons of these. It's so crazy how fast and easy you can make this, and that's what I love, because that's exactly what I want. I want to be able to show up on game day and just like, hey guys, you know, I've been working on this terrain, check it out, let's play with it. And we did. We played with them in this particular state where they're not painted or anything like that, but it was enough to convey the message, to really sell the story, or sell the idea of what, you know, what it is we're doing, or where in that, you know, fantasy land we are. So it was pretty cool. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to texture these, and the way I texture it is the way that was suggested from Black Magic Craft. He uses aluminum foil and just kind of, you know, creates a texture on the, you know, on the surface of this here, and I like to just kind of, you know, make real big indents, and kind of depending on what terrain we're trying to do. So obviously these are like dungeon stones, right? We're in this dungeon and we're going around and running around on these stones, very Indiana Jones, Kalima type stuff. So I thought it was pretty cool. But you know, depending on what terrain you want to build, they have all of these things available. So you can go to any hobby store, they have grass, they have gravel, and yeah, the texturing would be different, but this would be either some kind of dungeon or some kind of cave, perhaps a ruin. You're going through some kind of ruin, but the neat thing is that you can combine it. So if you're going from, you know, the outside of a cave where it's just like grass and dirt and stuff like that, and you're going into the entrance of the cave, you kind of get the idea. You could also do wood, and I got into creating other things besides these tiles, and I'm currently working on a small project where I'm making a house. And sometimes we go into these little towns that have these buildings, and I thought it'd be neat if, you know, we could put these down and kind of put our figures in front of it, but at the same time, if we need to, we can also go inside the house. And so you can see that I've been using that foam to just kind of create a floor and some walls and stuff like that. And again, like I said, there's a lot of great tutorials, and there's a lot of people out there that do this sort of stuff, and I watch their videos, and you know, I pick up little tips and tricks and I apply them to what I'm doing here. So as you can see, I'm adding texture to the styrofoam, and it'll hold it. It'll actually hold that texture, and you can see how quickly we added texture to that. So it's like really fast, really neat, and you know, just taking artistic liberties with it. I'm not going too ham on it, but I am adding texture, so it doesn't have this like smooth finish. The only thing I don't mess with is the bottom, because I want them all to be real smooth and they sit on the table nicely. You know, there's no tile that's wonky or whatever the case may be. So there you go. Just, you know, not going crazy. And if I wanted to make corners, you could certainly make corners, just as long as, you know, the 1-inch square matches on both sides. And then later on, I'm going to be making stone walls and cavern walls and stuff like that. So once you have that laid out, you're ready to grid. So you could actually lay these down and kind of use your imagination to see where, you know, where the 1-inch square is. But I like to, you know, represent it the best that I can. So right there, I know that it's 3 inches, so I'm gonna go to the 2-inch mark and the 1-inch mark, just make a little poke, and then do the same thing down here at the 2-inch mark and the 1-inch mark. And if you know, if you mess up and it's a little crooked, not a big deal. I don't think anybody's gonna notice. But you start off with that. Using an X-Acto knife, you can score the lines, and then you could use the same pencil to basically cave in the insulation and make that groove just a little bit deeper. So here we are. We're gonna make the first line, and you don't want to go all the way too deep, because then of course the insulation will lose its strength. So another thing I like to do is just kind of come down the side of it so it looks like that. Kind of looks neat. Then we're gonna go ahead and do another one, and you know, I'm running the blade through, but I'm not going all the way to the bottom of it, because again, I want the tile to keep that structure, keep that strength, and you know, not mess up your little tile. So when you're doing that, just keep in mind that you don't want to go too crazy with it. Alright, so now we have our vertical lines, you could call it, quote unquote. So we're going to turn it and make the other 2 lines that will be our horizontal line. Same thing, roughly 1 inch, 2 inch. And this is really neat because of course, with your supervision, the kids can join in and they can make tiles and they can, have a lot of fun making these. So it doesn't have to be a solo project. You could do this with your kids or with whoever, friends. And as a matter of fact, I think I'm getting together with some of my friends and we're going to be working together to make some of these. Alright, so I'm kind of doing this in the air. I don't recommend that you do it. I'm just kind of doing it because I could see it a little bit better. There we go. And then now that I have that, I can lay it down and make that groove just a little bit bigger. And here we're going to go all the way down here. Same thing on this side. And there you have it. So now that you have your basic grid laid out, you could start embellishing or doing certain things. So what I like to do is, I don't want them to look exactly the same, but I do kind of I like to make sure that they match to a certain degree. So here I just carved a little notch on the side of that one. I may come over here and kind of pop this out so there's damage on the floor. And these sort of things can be totally random, but for me, I like to follow some kind of I guess rule or fact or something. I don't know, some kind of logic. So to me, if that has a dent or a break or a hole in the tile, then obviously there's gonna be cracks in it. So that's usually where I put these big gouges or cracks in the tile. So I don't do it to all of them because it does look kind of weird, but I certainly don't want the terrain to be perfect. I mean, you're running around in a dungeon, so it's like it's got to have some kind of damage to it, right? So I just kind of I sit here and I look at it and I think about where I want the damage to be, and just to kind of make it look interesting, right? So when your figure is on it and you're fighting, and it just kind of looks cool. So so those are the things I think about. And maybe the crack will follow the side or something. And then here I'll sometimes I'll gouge something out. And it's totally up to you, it's totally up to you what you want to do as far as damage to the tile. So we're going to go ahead now, before we go into the first segment of our live stream, we're going to use our pencil, finish this off, and then we'll get to painting this one with black because it already has Mod Podge. But I do have one here that we can certainly Mod Podge. Of course. So when you're widening these gaps, you could just run the pencil along the same groove that you made with the knife, and you can see already the difference between that line versus this line right here. It's like real light and faint, and this one's real deep. And I like to follow that down the side, so that I don't know, this is like completely aesthetic. It's like it just makes it look cool. Then we follow this line here, and it's totally up to you, how thick or wide you want that to look. Here it has a cool little indentation. It's totally up to you. And then that's it. Like literally, that's how simple and easy it is to make dungeon tiles. and like I said, a huge shout out to Black Magic, because it's when I found it, I'm like, Yes, yes. Definitely wanted to go out and try it myself and discovered it's a lot of fun to do it. So muchas gracias. Thank you from all the way from Florida, from BOT10ART. Thanks so much for being cool and posting that on YouTube. All right, so before we carry on, we're going into our very first segment of the live stream. And if you've never been here, we like to play, well, not play, but the first one is Strange But True. I like to call this little segment Strange But True. If you're new here, basically, I just give you a strange fact that I find during the week, and I share it with all of you guys. So get ready for Strange But True. And then closer to the end of the live stream, we play trivia. So here we go. Here we go. Let's see, what do we got? Do we have a strange but true fact? I had a good one. Let's see. Oh wait, I got lost in my own in my own thing. Okay, here I got it. Cool. So this is actually something that I already knew. But I happened to stumble across it again and wanted to show it with, share it with all of you guys. So here we go. Calling shotgun when riding in a car comes from the term shotgun messenger, which was used to refer to the guard who sat next to the stagecoach driver. The guard would use a shotgun to keep robbers and criminals away. It made its way into society due to Hollywood's love for Western flicks. So when you call shotgun, and you're going somewhere with your pals, you know where it came from. So when you're calling shotgun, that's what you're doing. Oh, what'd you say, RJ? Is that 1 inch or ½ inch? This is 1 inch. Yeah, 1 inch squares. It's 1 inch thick. 3 by 3. So yeah, calling shotgun. Now you know where it comes from. So what we can do is, this one already has Mod Podge. I could show you how I put Mod Podge on this one. It's like painfully simple. Basically have this giant like Mod Podge container, and it's water based, so it's easy to clean. And you go ahead and seal all of your tiles. Now, the one thing I have noticed is that, of course, you want full coverage. You want a good coverage on your tile, so your tiles don't get messed up. And when I do this particular part and the painting, I would have like 20 of these things ready to get Mod Podged, and then once they're all dry, I would have 20 of them to paint, and then 20 to texture and all that good stuff, and kind of weather and do all of the things that I want to do. So, but for tonight, we're just doing one square at a time, and I'm not gonna paint these the way I normally do, but you get the idea. You would paint the sides, or I shouldn't say paint. The term is seal. You're gonna seal the top, seal the sides, and the bottom. And that's what I've done to this one. It dries clear. You can't even tell that it has Mod Podge on it, but it does. And the one thing I will say is, when you're using Mod Podge, when you first dip in, you want to have a decent amount of Mod Podge on it to give you that coverage, and you want to go into all of these little nooks and crannies and stuff like that. But at the same time, you don't want to use a lot of Mod Podge, because then you start losing the texture that you made earlier. So always keep that in mind. You want to spread it kind of thin, and that's all you need, really. You just need a thin layer of Mod Podge to seal these little tiles up, and you can do hundreds of them in a relatively quick time. So that one's good to go. We're gonna let this one dry off to the side, and then we're gonna get to painting. So that tile's off to the side. Mod Podge is water based, so it's easy to clean your brush with just water alone. And I happen to have a little bit of water here because I was painting something else. It never ends. Oh, I didn't turn off Strange but True. Oh my god. You've been listening to this music all this time. Sorry about that, guys. It's excellent. Yep. Alright, so that's pretty much good to go there. And the process is going to be the same thing for your sealed tile. I would paint, you know, the whole tile. I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm just going to paint the top. So here, being that it's sealed, it's gonna flow nicely over these tiles. So what I do is I just put a little dab of paint, and this is like acrylic paint, cheap acrylic paint. You don't have to go crazy. It's totally up to you. You know, if you want to use expensive paints and stuff like that. For this sort of thing, I'm not really using my expensive acrylics because these little cheapy ones, they do the trick too. So if you have anything from the dollar store or, you know, the craft store or Walmart even, it does the trick. You know what I mean? You don't have to go out and buy a bunch of expensive things. And that's what I love about this particular craft, or, you know, DIY project, or whatever it is you want to call it. That's what I love about it, because anybody can do it. It's totally up to you. You can use your imagination. You don't have to have any artistic skills. I mean, we're not painting a masterpiece or anything like that. We're just, you know, we're just basically getting acrylic paint and covering tile, like, or covering insulation foam, if you would. So it's a really neat thing to do with the kids, because a lot of the times that's what happens. Some projects that you do with the kids, you want them to be fairly simple and easy, because, you know, they got small hands. They're not necessarily you know, have enough dexterity or whatnot. Dexterity, see what I did there? It's a D&D term. But anyways, they may not have the hand control or the neatness, you know, to draw something specifically perfect or paint something specifically perfect. So this is perfect for the kids. So there you have it, just like that. You know, you're laying down the basic color for the tiles. Now for me, I like to go into every single line that I made to make sure that there's no like purple peeking out. There's a tiny little bit right there in that corner, and I am about to take care of that just like that. So if you have a gaming group, or you want to start one, or whatever the case may be, you guys can, you know, share supplies. Like, just share the supplies. One person is making the tiles, one person is sealing it with Mod Podge, the other person's painting them, you know. Or you could just take turns. Perhaps someone is working on dungeon tiles and you're working on a plane or a riverbed or whatever the case may be, and you guys can get together and do this sort of stuff. So hey, what's up? Hola Trace, hola Leanne, welcome to the live stream. Good to see you guys. So so yeah, just like that, simple, easy. So once, you know, again, I would have a bunch of these and I would just paint them at the same time. If the one that would just Mod Podge would dry, I would do the same thing there, and then paint the sides, paint the bottom, and you end up with this right here. So this one is ready for the other paints that we're going to add to it. So we're going to go ahead and get ready for that. How's it going? You guys doing good? You had a good week? Everybody had a good week, I'm hoping. Everybody? Yes, 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 yes. Alright, we're going to set that off to the side. Let that dry. Clean out my brush. And this this particular part is neat because you don't use any water at all. It's just dry brushing, and I'll show you how that gets done. It's the easy part. And I don't know. I mean, you guys let me know. It doesn't seem like it's a hard project to do. Hope not. Alright, so right now I am making sure that my brush is dry. There we have it. And this is just like an old, old crummy like art brush. Not busting out the cool tools here, or the good tools, I should say. It's definitely going with like all the crafty stuff. I hope they don't notice this. The girls don't notice I'm using all their crafty stuff. Alright, so for this part, you need very, very little paint, and you're gonna see how fast that texture and all the work that you did in the first tile like instantly pops out. And one of the cool things I like to do is wherever there was a hole or some kind of damage to the tile, I try to leave that either black or dark, so it kind of gives that contrast where it creates the illusion of depth. I mean, obviously there is depth there because you made a hole, but it makes it look like deeper somehow, and it's really neat. So you need very, very little paint for this. I barely got any on the brush tip, and you just paint the excess on a towel or rag, or like I mentioned before, and you start going over the tile, and you could see just right away. I mean, you could tell right away how much that little bit of paint did. And that's it. This is literally what you gotta do. I like to use two different colors. With the gray, cover the most of the tile, like cover a lot of the tile in gray, and then I'll go back, pick up some more, and then hit the high spots with white, and that's gonna really, it's gonna create a highlight on the stone and pop everything and make it look really, really neat. So here with the dry brushing, I'm being kind of generous with the gray, and obviously you can see why I don't care too much about the brush, because I'm pretty sure if you do enough of these, you're gonna destroy the heck out of this. It's like this brush is gonna be crap in a minute. But yeah, you definitely don't want to go all like willy-nilly on it and just throw paint everywhere. You kind of got to follow the design that you've created. So, where do you want that color to pop? Where do you want the dark parts to be? Like here in this crack, I want like the edges, and then just random, you don't want to have any brush strokes. You don't want it to look like brush strokes. So you can see that it just brought out a lot of the detail right away, real fast, and the latex dries so fast that you can get away with moving the tile around and just kind of keep moving with your dry brush. And it's totally up to you how much of it you want to use, how dark you want your tiles. Some people use brown and yellow and stuff like that and kind of make them different shades of stone, because not every stone is gray, not every stone is like black or anything like that. So you could mix the colors however you want. You could pick and choose whatever it is you want to do. So I think I want to go a little bit lighter based on what my tile is, and you can kind of see this one on the left is a little bit lighter than the one on the right. So I'm going to hit it again with a little bit more gray, and then go with white, which is right here next to the gray. Alright, here we go. And with the second pass, I'm not doing it everywhere, as you can see. Just picking certain spots that I want to kind of highlight a little bit, especially in this area here, if you have like a tiny crack or something, you would definitely want to highlight those. But yeah, now it's starting to match the other one, as you can see right there. I'm cool with that, looking good. So we're gonna clean this brush yet again, and we're gonna do some white highlights now. And you know, you could, in a single night, you could probably, I don't know, do like 10 or 20 of these. You could definitely be ready to play with your group on the weekend if you started prepping these sometime during the week. So like, you know, Monday, cut everything, do all the texture. Maybe Tuesday, Mod Podge everything or seal everything, and then paint everything. You could have it done definitely for the weekend. So, all right, there it is. Now we're gonna add our white, and it's gonna be the same technique. You're doing the same technique only with white. So you're gonna load up the brush, and if you guys can see, just very, very little. Most of it, you know, most of it came out there, and very lightly just rub some of the white on. Actually, I have a lot there, so that's going to lighten up the stone quite a bit. There we are. And if you get, you know, if you get a lot of that sort of stuff, you could always darken it up again. It's totally up to you. I don't think anybody's gonna hold it against you. Nobody's gonna hold it against you. It's like, ah, sorry, man, that tile is a little too white. So, so yeah, but, and it just, again, it's like, it's really neat if you have a gaming group. Actually, this side is wet, so there we go. That's gonna be better for me. Yeah, if you know, it's really neat if you have a gaming group and you want to add that extra step to the imagination, or the extra little I don't know, ambiance, if you would, right? Little extra ambiance. Then you can make these tiles, and they're like super easy to do. There you go. We have one down. We have one down, but you could see how quick and easy these things come together, just like that. And you know, use your imagination, have fun with it. It's definitely something that you can totally build and mess around with all you want, for sure. So I will have, yeah, I guess I can do that. I'll put a link to all of the stuff that I use and on the description of this video. That way it'll help you out to get all the stuff that you need. But literally, you can probably, well, not the Mod Podge, but you could pretty much get everything in one spot. Or maybe one trip, I should say. So I have other tiles here ready to go, and they have different nooks and crannies and stuff like that. And again, like I mentioned, this sort of stuff is so cheap that you can definitely start building whatever it is you want real fast, right away. And currently I'm working on the tiles. I'm working on building this little house, and probably next week, if you guys want it, I'll show you how I do these. I guess, I don't know, I have no idea. Like I said, I'm not trying to I'm not trying to become Black Magic Craft myself here on YouTube, but if you guys want to see how I make these, yeah, definitely. But yeah, so that's how to make dungeon tiles. Now I know that I do take a little extra step now that these are sealed and they're painted and all that good stuff. I do use a matte spray paint, and I spray paint the top lightly, you have to be very, very careful, because if you don't have this properly sealed, you will melt. You will melt this, and it'll look really weird. But not a bad thing to happen, because you could use that for different kinds of textures and stuff like that. I know that some people use nail polish to kind of melt it and create little divots and, you know, weird terrain, I guess, if you would. But yeah, these are gonna be ready for the next time I play with my group, and hopefully my DM will be happy, because we have some kind of representation, and we don't have to unfold all these crazy maps and stuff like that. So yeah, there you have it. Now I guess we play trivia. I ran out. I thought I was going to take a little bit longer, but again, it's like I forget how fast you can make these things. So of course, just like every Friday night, the wonderful family is waiting to eat dinner in our spot. If you guys frequent the Friday night live stream, then you know where we're going after the live stream. So I'll take a swig of this, and we'll wrap it all up playing a round of trivia. So here we have it. If you're new or you've been away for a while, I added a new segment that I like to call Brain Tickle. Brain Tickle is where we play trivia on the Friday night live stream, and it is simple to play. All you have to do is listen to the one question I give you, and then if you know the answer, then leave it in the form of a comment on this video. At the end, well, I was gonna say at the end of the year, but we kind of split it up. So we're gonna do 2 prizes, and basically it's a BOT10ART loot crate, as some people have named it. I don't have a name for it, so perhaps you guys can come up with something. But I'm gonna have one like around the summertime, and then another one around Christmas. I'll be sending you lots of goodies and lots of cool stuff. And this is the current score for right now. Leela is ahead with 8 points. Dan has 2 points, and Scully, our buddy pal Paul, he's got 2 points. So are you guys ready for your trivia question? Here you go. By the way, the answer to last week was Nepal. You guys were correct. You nailed it again. What is the only national flag that is not squared or rectangle? And it is Nepal. So I properly gave you all the points for that. And here comes your trivia question for this week. If you know the answer, again, please do not leave it in the chat. Just leave it in the form of a comment, and we'll get right to it. So let's see how smart you guys are. I actually knew the answer to this one, which was pretty cool. But here's your question for the week. Which metallic element has a melting point of approximately -38 degrees Fahrenheit? I'll say that one more time. Which metallic element has a melting point of approximately 38 degrees negative Fahrenheit? Alright, so if you think you know the answer, go ahead and leave it in the form of a question at the end of this video, and I'll keep tallying up points until we have a winner. So I'm thinking somewhere June, July, I'll be sending out the first BOT10ART loot crate, I guess, or box that'll have lots of goodies, and I'm getting close to knowing what it is I want to send you guys, because I want it to be fun, I want it to be really cool, and I want you guys to get something really neat from me. So it's gonna be a mixture of my stuff and a mixture of other things that I find. It could be past projects that we've done, or just a mixture of everything. It's a mod podge of things that I want to give you guys. So there you have it. Good luck. I hope you guys figure out what it is, what the answer is, and there you have it. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Make sure to tune in Sunday morning for my podcast, Noodle Doodle. If you're new and you like it and this is informative, hit the like button, like destroy the like button. That would be totally awesome. And subscribe if you like the channel, and come hang out with us. Again, special thanks to Black Magic Craft, who taught me how to make these little tiles. It's a lot of fun, and I will be sending him a message to let him know that we appreciate him here in our channel, and we give him props and stuff like that. So that's it. I am hungry. I'm gonna treat myself with some ice cream. We're gonna kick off the weekend. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for hanging out with me like you always do every week. The usual suspects: Leela, Leanne, Dan, just Leela, Paul, Steve. I haven't seen in a while, but I know that he watches every once in a while, so we want to extend our love and appreciation to Steve. Man, so many so many people that tune in every week, and I do appreciate it. I do thank you so very much, and we'll see you next time right here, same time, same channel, different project hopefully. But let me know if there's anything that you guys want me to tackle, and we'll certainly cover it. We miss you too, our kids. I miss you too. So there you have it. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, MegaCon is coming up, so if you have a table and you want to share it here with everybody, make sure to post it on the chat. And until next time, we'll see ya. Bye bye. Play some Dungeons and Dragons. It's fun. It's a brand new game that was invented in the 80s. We'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for everything. Bye bye.